DJ Akademiks is back in the headlines, and this time it's not for going at rappers over sales or beef. It's over something a lot more personal: money, respect, and how a man with millions chooses to spend it. He's out here expressing severe disappointment in Lil Baby over these alleged OnlyFans payments, claims that Baby has been dropping serious bags on creators behind the scenes. Whether those numbers are perfectly accurate or not, the way Ak is talking about it has turned this into a whole conversation about simping, image, and how rappers move when nobody's supposed to be looking. Let's lay out the basic idea. Akademiks is basically saying, yo, you're Lil Baby. You're one of the biggest rappers of this era. Women should be chasing you. Why are you allegedly out here paying like a regular thirsty fan? To him, it's not even about the dollar amount. It's about the principle. In his mind, there's a difference between spending money on your girl, spending money on an experience, and sending quiet payments to somebody's OnlyFans, like you're just another username with a credit card. Now, obviously, we don't know exactly what's true behind the scenes. Screenshots can be edited, stories can be exaggerated, and the internet loves to twist anything into a bigger headline. But what AK is reacting to, and what people are debating, is the idea of a guy who talks boss, drips designer, flexes big chains, and then allegedly moves like a trick on the low. That gap between the rap image and the alleged private behavior is what has AK saying he's disappointed. Let's break down why this hits such a nerve. First, there's the city boys versus simps narrative that social media loves. People online treat everything like a scoreboard. If a rich rapper spends big on women, the internet calls him down bad. If he's cold, detached, never spending, they call him toxic. There's almost no winning. But Akademiks is coming from that city boy high-value mindset where paying for attention, especially when you're already famous, is seen as the ultimate L. He's like, if regular dudes are grinding to keep their dollars together, why is a multimillionaire rapper blowing his money like that? Second, there's the brand aspect. Lil Baby's whole persona is built on being a street-raised, self-made hustler who turned the grind into empire money. When someone like that is accused of paying for digital intimacy, it clashes with the idea that every woman in the world wants him just off name and status alone. In rap culture, so much of your value is tied to how desired you are, how in demand you are, how easily you can get attention without trying. So from Akademiks' point of view, the idea of Baby allegedly paying like a fan clashes with the myth of Baby the untouchable star. But let's slow it down and ask some real questions. Is spending money on OnlyFans automatically an L, or is it just a personal choice that looks wild because of who we're talking about? Regular people do it every day. They might see it as supporting a creator they like, paying for intimacy they can't get in real life, or just entertainment. When a rapper does it, especially a big one, suddenly it becomes a moral indictment. Is that fair? Or are we only pretending to care because it's a famous face? There's also a bigger conversation about how we judge men's spending versus women's earnings. People rarely criticize the creators making the bag. The flames always hit the guy who pays. Akademiks is leaning all the way into that, questioning Baby's self-respect, his decision-making, and saying stuff like, with everything you got, why are you moving like this? But at the same time, he's also highlighting something a lot of people don't want to admit. No matter how rich or famous you are, you can still be insecure, still be lonely, still be looking for validation in ways that don't match your public image. Because let's be honest, paying for content, paying for attention, paying for companionship, those are all attempts to fill a space. AK sees it as weakness. Some might see it as human. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. It looks goofy, but it also shows that status doesn't automatically equal confidence or emotional stability. Another angle is the financial responsibility piece. We're in an era where fans are watching rapper finances in real time. Sales numbers, tour revenue, baby mamas, court cases, jewelry, houses. When news drops that someone might be casually dropping stacks on OF like it's nothing, people start thinking about longevity. Ak knows that, and he leans into the bad investment angle. Like, fam, you could put that into land, business, or even just save it, but you're throwing it at pixels. He's also using the situation to make a bigger point to his audience. Don't copy this behavior just because a famous dude does it. Akademiks has a mostly male fan base that looks at rappers as the blueprint for success. So when he goes off on Lil Baby over alleged OnlyFans spending, he's really saying to his viewers, don't let this be you. Don't be so thirsty or so caught up in fantasy that you bleed your own pockets dry. Now, whether you like DJ Akademiks or not, he's hitting on something real. The difference between spending from abundance and spending from emptiness. If you're spending money on women because you respect them, enjoy their company, and are in a healthy situation, that's one thing. If you're spending because you're trying to buy comfort, buy validation, or buy a feeling of power you don't have in real life, that's another. And this is where we can flip the conversation back onto the culture itself. Hip-hop has pushed this idea for decades. Big spender equals big man. Bottles, sections, bags, purses, trips, jewelry, that's all part of the flex. But the second that same energy shows up in a digital space like OnlyFans, suddenly everyone goes, whoa, 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 that's too far. Maybe the truth is that the line was always crooked. Maybe we've just decided that certain kinds of spending are socially acceptable flexes and others are clown behavior, even though at the end of the day, it's all money leaving your account. There's one more piece to this that we can't ignore: privacy and embarrassment. A lot of men, not just rappers, live in fear that their private spending, private messages, private habits might go public. That's why a story like this hits so hard. Every dude watching knows if someone leaked their DMs or bank statements, things could get ugly. AK is weaponizing that idea to shame Baby, but it's also a reminder that once you're in the spotlight, the line between private and public is paper thin. So where do we land with all of this? On one level, this is DJ Akademiks doing what he does best, taking a rumor, a leak, or a claim and turning it into a larger conversation about masculinity, money, and image. He's disappointed because in his eyes, Lil Baby is supposed to be above this. The top dog shouldn't be playing the same game as the thirsty fans. On another level, it's a mirror back on all of us and how we judge what's acceptable when it comes to how men spend, how they seek intimacy, and how honest they're allowed to be about it. For Lil Baby, the smart move is probably to ignore it, tighten his circle, and be more careful about what he does and who knows about it. For Akademiks, this is content fuel for days. For everybody watching, it's an opportunity to ask yourself, what do I actually think is an L here? The act itself or the act being exposed? Either way, this won't be the last time we see a rapper get called out for how they move in private. The internet has receipts for everything, and commentary channels are ready to turn every leak into a lecture. If you rock with breakdowns that don't just gossip but actually dig into what these stories say about money, ego, and the culture we're all swimming in, you're in the right place. Thank you for watching. If you got something out of this, hit like, drop your thoughts respectfully in the comments. Is Akademiks overreacting, or does he have a point? And make sure you subscribe to the Short Clips Podcast so you don't miss the next deep dive into the stories your timeline can't stop talking about.